Some movies are so terrible they somehow loop back around to being entertaining. Whether it's the over-the-top acting, cringe-worthy dialogue, or ridiculous plots, these films have earned a special place in our hearts for being irresistibly bad. Here are 8 so bad it's good classics that we just can't stop watching. The Room. The Room became an unintentional masterpiece of bad filmmaking, where dialogue, acting, and logic were all apparently optional. Tommy Wiseau's bizarre vision was so perplexing that it spawned midnight screenings, where fans throw spoons at the screen and yell at the characters. Despite being a disaster by most cinematic standards, it's now a cultural phenomenon, proving that sometimes the best way to succeed is to fail spectacularly. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes took the idea of a B-movie and turned it into pure, self-aware absurdity. The film embraced its low-budget charm, featuring a theme song that's catchier than it has any right to be and tomatoes that terrorize the world with a vegetable uprising. It's a parody that's so bad it's good, and somehow it even managed to spawn sequels and an animated TV series, showing that nothing is too ridiculous to have a fan base. The Toxic Avenger. The Toxic Avenger is what happens when you mix a superhero origin story with buckets of low-budget gore and a sense of humor as twisted as its protagonist. Trauma Entertainment's mascot was born out of toxic waste and became a cult hero in Traumaville, fighting crime in the most grotesque ways possible. This movie didn't just launch a franchise, it proved that B-movies could be unapologetically disgusting and still get their own Saturday morning cartoon. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Killer Clowns from Outer Space answered the question no one asked. What if aliens invaded Earth, but they looked like terrifying clowns and used deadly circus props to kill people? This 1988 cult classic combined cheesy special effects with an absurd premise, creating a horror comedy that's as colorful as it is creepy. The film has gained a devoted following over the years, cementing its place in the So Bad It's Good Hall of Fame. And let's not forget those balloon animal attack dogs. Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter. Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter did the unthinkable. It brought together the savior of humanity and a legion of vampires in a low-budget B-movie showdown. Set in modern-day Ottawa, Jesus teams up with a Mexican wrestler to take on the undead, proving once and for all that he's not just turning water into wine anymore. He's also roundhouse kicking the forces of darkness. And yes, Jesus sports a modern look, complete with a haircut that the director himself gave to the lead actor. Cannibal Women in the Avocado Jungle of Death. Cannibal Women in the Avocado Jungle of Death didn't just give us a ridiculous title. It delivered a feminist satire wrapped in jungle adventure campiness. Starring Shannon Tweed and Bill Maher, this gem pokes fun at gender roles and academic absurdities as a feminist professor is sent to recruit cannibal women living in the avocado jungle of California. Despite its absurd premise, the movie manages to sneak in a surprising amount of social commentary, all while maintaining a tone of sheer tongue-in-cheek hilarity that perfectly captures the late 80s B-movie spirit. Iron Sky. Iron Sky took the conspiracy theory to the next level by imagining that the Nazis didn't just lose the war, they retreated to the moon and are now plotting their comeback. Blending sci-fi, satire, and an audaciously over-the-top premise, this Finnish-German-Australian production delivers on every level of ridiculousness, complete with space zeppelins and a Sarah Palin-esque U.S. president. The film's visual effects, surprisingly sophisticated for its budget, were created by a team of artists who had previously worked on The Lord of the Rings. Death Race 2000. Death Race 2000 revved up the engines of dystopian cinema with its blood-soaked cross-country car race where mowing down pedestrians scores extra points. Produced by Roger Corman and starring David Carradine and a pre-Rocky Sylvester Stallone, This cult classic is as much about the darkly comedic satire of American society as it is about the over-the-top vehicular mayhem. One particularly gruesome trivia fact: the famous scene where David Carradine's character Frankenstein plows through a hospital, mowing down patients, was inspired by an actual conversation the filmmakers had about taking out the sick as a form of population control.